Just so you know, it's Danny dressed up as Kenny Rogers for our Dream Team party.
Yeah.
And so we went ahead and framed it and put it in the growth track.
Thank you.
It was so sweet. It really was.
That meant a lot.
Yes, I can tell. I can tell. But we like to have fun. We'll show you the hidden picture if you come join us.
Yeah. Well, welcome back to our I Didn't Sign Up for This podcast. I have an amazing group with me today. Today I have Scott Davis, who is on staff with us here, leads our teams. Christine leads our growth track team, and then Danny helps her with the growth track. And so they are an amazing addition to our church body, and they really do a good job helping us help people discover their purpose. And so I'm going to tell you, it's a different thing. I want to just talk about that for a minute, about how important it is for people to discover their purpose. And how's that different from just putting somebody in a position that you need help with? Because we do have people that go through Growth Track. It's a 4-step process to help you discover your purpose and go make a difference. And we do have people come through and they say this all the time: put me where you need me. Right. Do y'all hear that? Do y'all hear people say?
Absolutely. Every month we hear that.
Does it make you excited, or is it just like,
Well, a little bit of both, because it's so awesome for people just to want to serve. And so I think it's great that they're like, just put me anywhere. But we know that's not going to last, because when they're not where their calling is, they're going to burn out and they're going to start dreading going, and they're going to, and they're like, oh, I have to serve tomorrow. And that's not what we want. We want that I get to serve tomorrow. I'm on board. I'm ready to go. Yeah. So I love the heart of it, but that doesn't last.
Yeah.
And I think we've all been in those situations where you just had, and I was telling Scott earlier this morning, we have teams that need help.
Absolutely.
we had staff members stepping into teams yesterday because there was nobody in that room. That sounds bad. It's not that bad. It's in a brand new 2-year-old team that we just started. You know more about that than I do, Scott. But they just stepped up and stepped in. So we have teams that need help, but we would rather you find your fit than to fill a spot that you're going to burn out on. Right. And that's so important. So talk about that. What that's meant for you guys, because we've all been in, there's probably, I won't throw numbers out there, 200 years worth of church sitting right here at this table. Yeah. Danny, you got about 100 of that. But just what that feel like, that excitement, what that's like to see a system work where people come, you have this big group of people coming and they're filtering in, and then they're just landing on teams that.
I know that whenever, Debbie and I came, that was one of the really things that really drew us, because all of my life I've always served. It was in my family, my father as a leader in our family. That's just what we did. We will be going to church. We will be serving others. So I've always been a part of serving. So it wasn't that much of an issue to me, but it was really neat to be able to come here, because it wasn't just me that everyone had an expectation for me to serve, but it was every single person that came in. We want them to come in and use the gifts that God's given them, use those talents and those gifts to be able to serve other people. And I can remember in the past, we went to church together when we were younger, and there was very few people doing everything. I would draw the line at the nursery. I'm not. You don't want me to watch your kids, but I did just about everything else. I mean, from sweeping and teaching different classes and going different places and whatever else, whatever we had to do. But that was the old way of doing things. And you had so many people who just came to church. But the reality is the joy is in the serving and the sacrifice, you know, and we experienced that. But it's really neat now, because everyone who comes in, they realize there's an I'm supposed to, what am I going to do? I'm going to join a team. But it's neat helping them find their purpose and where they're good, so they can be an asset to the kingdom right here, at WRC. So it's a beautiful thing.
And I would say that it's tempting when somebody comes in and they got a great personality and they have this and that, and they go, put me where you need me.
Right.
Boy, it's so tempting to go, we try not to tell Scott that, because he knows the big gaps. And so it's probably not a good thing. But But it is very tempting to go, man, we have these gaps. And so I think you would make great. But like you said, you don't want me in nursery. Like I was on the media team at the church I was at previously, and I was a deacon. And I was a killer media team member. Man, I loved it now until everything goes haywire and everybody looks up at you and I'm like, all right, I'm done. I'm done. But it was something I enjoyed, and I remember because I taught Sunday school for little ones and I didn't like that. And then when I did media, I was like, oh, dude, I enjoy this. I'll come early for this. I'll stay late for this. Right. And so finding that is so important. And Scott, you can talk more to, Scott runs all of our teams or most of our teams, and how important that is when people find that fit. And then the cool thing is you start seeing leadership come out of them quicker too as well. So talk about that, why that's important and what that looks like.
Well, we talked about this, there was just, we needed people, right? There were a few people. So if you were willing to serve, we were going to put you where we needed you. But that's not where we wanted to stay, and that's not where we're at right now. Right. So it's where passion meets purpose. Mm-hmm. If you're passionate about something, we believe that God's put something inside of you that if you put that work to work for the kingdom of God, people are going to come to know Jesus, and you're going to be happy. You're going to be full of joy, and you're going to come back and you're going to serve next week. Yeah. So
that's the key part that I love is that what I hear from a lot of guests that come in, they say, people they want to be here. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Even the people serving wanted to be here. Right. And they say it seems like, I said, it's because it's true. It's true. They want to be here. They're coming. I mean, we start huddles at 8:45. They're getting there at 8:15, 8 o'clock. Yeah. They're coming 45 minutes before they have to. Most of them, you have a few rolling in. They're coming in on two wheels. But for the most part, people are showing up. We come out of prayer, with 20 minutes before 9. Our first service is at 9:15, and there's just a buzz going on. And I mean, we're 45 minutes to service, right. And that just makes a huge difference when you want to be here and you want to be part of that. Let's talk about some of the downsides of growth track is a 4-step process, and we are gonna push it because it's a big thing. What are some of are there any downsides that you see with growth track or with a system that's that may push people one way or another, or we take a couple of tests. So one of the things that we do is we take a test and you discover your personality and your giftings. Mm-hmm. Do y'all see people cheating on those at all?
Oh, so this is the interesting part of that is when husbands and wives sit next to each other. And so, I give them instructions that you cannot nudge, you cannot point until we have finished this whole deal, and because they're like, hey, you're answering that wrong. They're just trying to help, just trying to help. And so we laugh, we have a lot of fun with it, but absolutely,
I always say you probably need to switch cards because the spouse will be absolutely
at the end. But the other thing, and this is not intentional cheating, but we instruct them to answer the questions instantaneously. Do not think about it. Do not ponder on it. Yeah. Because what happens is when you think about it, you start thinking about what you wish you were or what you used to be. Because people change as they age, life experiences. I mean, when a woman becomes a mama, all of a sudden she is so much more confident, maybe not for herself, but for her child. And anyway, just life changes you. So how you answered at 20 is not how you're going to answer at 30 or at 40. And so we tell them, you just answer. And then because when they think about it, they're always putting, this is what I wish I was. And that doesn't work. What you wish you were doesn't matter. You are who you are. And so it's unintentional cheating, but they try to cheat a little bit.
Well, and I think too, if I was in that room, I would think, who's going to see this?
Yes.
They're going to literally read my mail, which is not, we throw them on the screen and look at them every once in a while. No, we don't do that. We just, but here's the other thing that when you come out of growth track, which by the way, let's just talk about that real quick. Growth track is a 4-step process. It's the first 4 Sundays of every month. Yes. We do fast tracks. You don't have to sign up. You just show up. And so it's during the 10:45 service. But when they come out of that system, when they come out of that program of Growth Track, man, I love everything about it. Step one is become a member, and so you get to learn all about what we do, where we came from, how we spend money. All those things are in there. And then you have step two, which is discover your purpose. That's what we just talked about. So it's 2 tests. It's a spiritual assessment, your spiritual gifts, and then your personality.
Yes.
And I'll tell you, what we do with that information is incredible. My wife takes it. She's our admin. She takes it and she puts it in the system. So when we're looking for a certain person with a certain gifting, I can just go run a report and I can look at all the people that have administration.
Yes.
I can all the people who have craftsmen. If we're trying to get something built here, we look, a lot of those people are already on that team. But it's so important to not just collect that data, but be able to get it back out again.
Right.
And we've reached out to some of y'all and said, hey, can you help us with this? Because I see that you have this gifting. I'll tell you one thing I slipped up. I assumed, and it was you, Danny. So Christine, this is about a year ago. Christine was like, I'm really feeling like God's calling me maybe something different. And we're like, well, Danny's the obvious choice. Danny is the guy. And I just thought, because I know your temperament, we've been knowing each other for 30 years, that you had administration in your giftings. You do not.
Right. Yeah.
You do not have that.
Oh,
He's
I know.
super passionate about Growth
Right.
Track
Yeah.
and people finding their purpose. But he doesn't want to do the paperwork.
No.
He wants to talk, and he's good at talking.
Yeah.
Paperwork's not your thing.
Not quite. Not quite.
And I'm gonna tell
if I
you,
have an administrative assistant now, I can,
That's right.
I can go.
and that's so important. That's the other thing I want to talk about was we have 2 people in there, and that's kind of new. We've done that for the last maybe year or 2 years,
Year and a half.
year and a half. That's been crucial because
much
you're
so.
not, and I'm gonna tell you. So just so you know, Christine stepped away. I think you were still pretty heavily involved, but Danny, we were like, hey, we need to run this report and click this thing and move this thing and fill this out. And he was like, whoa, hold up a second. I thought I was just helping people discover their purpose and make a difference. And so we take that data that we get from Growth Track and we plug it in and I've learned not to assume, and I use you as an example. I don't just assume somebody has certain things because of their temperament. Because I just, because you have some cleric in you, and my wife's cleric, she has admin. Well, it doesn't mean every cleric has admin.
That's right.
That's right.
So, which is the D, by the way, on the DISC test. So let's talk about that combination of those two. You have the connector. I don't know what do y'all call them?
Well, the host is the one that's talking all the time, so we like to talk.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we have the admin who they're the ones, they're going to make sure that everybody has a book and a pen and they're collecting all the cards, making sure that all the stuff that needs to be done is happening.
The I's are dotted
so
and T's
we
are
can
crossed.
just talk to the people.
Right.
And it and that came about when Danny and I were figuring out how we were going to do things. And it's just been a blessing. So it was interesting because here we are teaching about finding your purpose and connecting that with your passion. And then we discovered in that process, even on our own team,
Right.
that we had hosts that were better at the admin part.
Yeah.
And then we had people that were not good at the admin part. So when we
Right.
divided that up, man, it's just been so powerful.
It has.
Our lead admin person is just, I mean, she gets on her
Phenomenal.
phone and she's a whiz and she's emailing
Every time
it
I
out.
see it pop up, I'm
yes. Yes.
I love
mean,
it. I just
absolutely.
look at
Angel
Angel sent it to me.
Yes.
And yes, she is an angel. And we have some great
Absolutely.
admins.
So it's just
that
cool
really
because
are an
what we
asset.
teach, we actually had to learn a little bit the
Right.
hard way on our own team.
Yeah, and you would think that would go together. A host is an admin,
Right.
and you really got to have both of those. And because you do have, because if you don't know, we do middle school. If you're 6th grade, you can go through Growth Track, and sometimes you got to sit with that. That 6th grade and go, well, there's some words in there that they're not real easy.
Hey,
to
there's
come.
words adults don't know what they mean. There's some tricky little words in there.
Yeah. So if you have that second person, you can really,
Yes.
it's really a personal connection. And really that's what we're about. We're just trying to connect people. Amy's running check-in right now and she stepped into that and she's just having a blast. But something we've always wanted to do, and we've done it a little bit, but now we're really getting good at it, is if a brand new person comes in and they fill out a card and we put them in the system, check this out, the person that checked them in steps away from the computer and walks them to the rooms that their kids are going
that's
to.
good.
I like it.
Bro, come on, bro. I get excited every time I talk about it. And then we have a floater who steps into that role and now they're taking over. And so we're working through that. But I love that, a personal connection. And so we're trying to do that everywhere. It's not an accident. It's on purpose.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And we can do that in there. And that's so how has that helped you guys? get better at Growth Track by having those two people. I know that, there's a lot less questions coming from Amy's desk right now because everything's...
Because I'm not involved in admin.
I wasn't going to say...
It's really neat because I'm able to, and Chris, the host is able to focus on the connection and the relationship. And, and it's really neat because, I'm able to not have to focus on dotting the I's and making sure I get the right thing and making sure this is correct. But I'm able to focus on who they are, why they're here, hear their story, be able to connect them to others, because, our connections and our, who we know is so important in that small circle. And so as they come in and they're new, sometimes we don't know it. They may have been here for 6 months, but they come
or
and
5 years.
They want. That's right. Yeah. They want to be a part. It's really neat because we're able to have that initial connection, and then we're able to help connect them to others. Mm-hmm. And it's that connection that's beautiful. Through life groups, through dream teams and everything. So it is beautiful, and it's really kind of easy for us to be able to hand them off, so to speak, to someone else to be able to connect with them. So we know they're taken care of, and we don't lose that connection. We still know them, but that very first connection, them becoming a member, and the connection they have with our host and our admin, is a critical connection. But being able to focus on them specifically has been, I think, one of the best parts. And,
Absolutely.
And Diana and the rest, they do such a great job at what they do to make sure everything is, we want to be very proficient in everything we do and handle everything professionally. At the same time, we want to make sure that connection and that relationship is true and real, and that they know that they do have a connection with us right off the bat. So.
Well, and I think that it has helped with people not falling through the cracks because we're taking the time to get to know them and visit with them. And I mean, we'll come out of the Growth Track room and try to find somebody and say, hey, you need to come meet them. This is perfect for your life group or whatever. And then the admins are just making sure that everything's taken care of because, we're so busy talking, and then they're following up with them. They're making, hey, you haven't done step 3. You need to come back and do step 3. And so they're taking care of all that. And the office is no longer like, hey, we're missing all these, all these forms that need to be filled out. And then the other cool thing that we try to do is once they're serving on a team, we try to go find them.
I've seen that happen. That's cool.
We're just excited. We've spent a month with them helping them discover where they want to serve. Sometimes people onboard right away when they come to church. Sometimes they've been here 5 years and they're finally ready to say, yes, this is what I'm going to do. And both of those are exciting. Yeah. And so it's fun to go see them serving and plugging in and that nervousness of this is my first day. And we had someone in our life group just start serving. And so they're in the new two-year-old pre-K team. And so she told us in life group, this is going to be my first Sunday. And so, I go run down there and she's on the floor playing with those kids. It was beautiful. And she's just glowing. She's so excited. And so it's just neat to see them where they're being called and where they're just finding their purpose and finding value in who they are.
That's good.
Yeah. I was thinking about that difference between that connector in Growth Track, that host, and that admin person. If one way to tell if you're one or the other, if you are in a conversation but you are seeing all the things around you that need to be done, you're that admin person,
right.
And that doesn't give that admin person permission not to connect,
right? And
so that's just something that I know about me that I need to work on. But then you talk about people, passion meeting purpose, and that's just, it's so cool to see. Not that they're not just that they're serving people, because Jesus came to serve, not be served, and so that's what we're supposed to do, but that they're having fun doing it. They're enjoying doing it. I just want to brag on my wife. She leads our nursery team, and I'm telling you, passion has met purpose.
For sure.
We had 4 kids, and we would have had more if it weren't. She loves babies, and so it's so cool to see. Whether it's the nursery team or the 2-year-old team or the worship team, it's so cool to see that person just enjoy what they do and serving the Lord.
Yeah. I'll add something else also, which is such a blessing in the fact that whenever they sign up on a dream team, we always let them know first Sunday or third Sunday, second or fourth, and then the reason behind that is so important because, as you know, Andy, it was every Sunday, it was every time, it was doing 3 things and wore out and not looking forward to going to church back in the old days. But it's neat doing it the way we do it because they know they're not going to get wore out.
Yes.
The last thing we want them to do is get burnt out, and it's so neat. Be honest with you, although I don't work every month as a Growth Track host, but every week that I'm here, I'm continually finding those who have just gotten plugged in. Getting to know, like you said, go check them out. I sit at the coffee place and just, hey, you're serving. I'm so happy, And so it's really neat to be able to do that, but to be able to give them to know that they're not going to get wore out. We don't want them to get wore out. And also, first service and second service, we want you to be able to enjoy worship with your family.
Absolutely.
We don't want you to be able to come to church and it's a drudgery because I'm going to be watching babies the whole time. No, you can watch babies the first service, and then the second service you can go to church. So that's a great thing also.
We talked about that, having 2 services. When we came from from our previous location, we had a worship center that was 144, so we had, at a necessity, we had 2 services. When we get in this building, a 20,000 square foot building, there was that temptation, can we go to 1 service and just all worship together and be together? And we said no. And we'll never, even if we have a 1,000-seat auditorium, we'll never go back to 1 service because it gives people an opportunity to worship in a service and then serve in a service.
That's right.
I have a preacher friend of mine that he had a lady that he had met. He had just taken over a church not long ago, and he found out she's in Sunday school for over 3 decades and had not been to church.
Yes,
wow,
in over 3 decades.
I've seen nursery workers the same way.
Oh yeah, and
that's all they do is just
That's just not our goal. Yeah, that's not our goal.
That's sad.
Well, there's a couple of layers to this. And something that we've found that I've discovered is we don't have teams that need people. We have people that need teams.
That's right.
And that's a different way of looking at it. You don't go, well, I have a gap. No, it's like, hey, you need this. You need this more than you think you do. And I love seeing newer people come in and they go through Growth Track and they're in a life group. And they went from just like going straight to their seats to like finding 7 people that they know they serve with.
Yes.
We have a couple people that join Legacy. They're both kind of new to, both families are new to the church. One got them connected and you see them talking all the time now. And so it's cool to see. The other thing that we do with the host is, y'all may not know this, but we put your information in the system as the host of that person.
Yes.
So we know if Christine led a Growth Track 3 months ago and that person's kind of fizzling or just like they're not showing up or they're blocking out, which blocking out is fine. Please block out if you're a team member, but they're just not. We'll say, hey, this person, or you'll even say, hey, how are they doing? And we know, and we send it back through the host to say, hey, can you go check on this person because we thought we found a good fit. Maybe we didn't. Maybe it's training. I mean, that's another thing. We send out a survey when people leave a team. We send a survey and say, hey, how can we get better? What do we do wrong? And I'm gonna tell you, and probably 30% of the time, I didn't get trained well, and we're just always like just trying to make it better, and not to get worn out, not to do too much, but we want it to be a great experience. And I think that's the atmosphere you feel when you come in. Is people excited to be here because they found their fit, they found their team, they found their group, and they found their tribe. Right. And it's such a big deal.
Right. So we actually do surveys. We do a 3-month, a 6-month, and a 1 year, I believe, is what we do. And but the reason we do that is we want feedback. We want to get better. So we want to know, are you serving? Do you like where you're serving? And if they say no, they're going to get contacted. Do you feel like you are Has your passion met your purpose? And do you feel like God is calling you to do more? And so each survey is a little different. And then there's a box where you can write comments. And we want that feedback, because if we don't know, we don't know.
That's
and we
right.
can't make it better. And so it's, when people say, I feel like God's calling me to do more, a lot of times they don't know what yet. They're starting to feel that stirring. But we're going to reach out to them and say, okay, do you know? Do we want to talk about it or whatever? So please fill out those surveys, because it really does help us.
Mm-hmm.
I think one thing that keeps people from serving is they feel like they may be stuck, especially if they come from that old school system. It's like you signed up for this team.
Yeah.
There's no getting off. You're in.
And they won't even look you in the eye either. It's like, they're going to get off if I talk to them.
I'm just thinking back to that time frame when we just needed people, and it's like, okay, there's a spot, who's going to fill it?
Yeah.
And so I remember it was in kids, WRC kids. And so we had, and I can't remember what we called it, but it's like this, let's just call it the summer of fun, right? And so, hey, sign up for kids, and it's only a 3-month commitment. And then if you like it after that, you can stick with it. If you don't, you don't have to. And for some reason, serving in kids was intimidating to me. But I said, hey, it's 3 months, right? Anybody could do that. Right. So I signed up, and then I stuck with the team for, I don't know how long, maybe a couple of years, but until, we had other people that could fill that role. But if you sign up for a team, there is not an expectation that you are stuck on that team.
Right.
If your passion hasn't met purpose,
Right.
you have permission to come back to Growth Track and say, let's try again.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you remember or not, but when I first came on, I signed up in worship to maybe work the soundboard. Yeah, I don't know if you remember that.
I don't remember that.
And I was in training. I learned really quick that's not where I'm going to be, baby, because one little mistake and everybody,
Yeah, the whole room turns around.
and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is not me. So I backed out really quick out of that. So, and then Christine hooked me into
Don't back too far.
yeah, into Growth Track.
Right.
So, no, I'm kidding.
But that's the other thing as well is it's a temptation to go, well, we tried, we tried to put on a team that didn't fit. No, like there's a team here. God made you for a purpose. You're here for a reason. Yeah. Let's find a fit for you. Right. And then, by the way, if you're wondering if you should be on another team, step 4 is all you got to do. Just come back to step 4. Yeah. It allows us to show you other teams. So steps 1 is become a member. Step 2 is discover your purpose. Step 3 is develop your leadership. And that's we've kind of morphed that a little bit. That's more focus on teams now than it used to be, but it is about leadership. And because I think one of the intimidation factors is as well, they don't know what they're getting into.
That's right.
If you've never stepped behind the kids' doors, you don't know what's happening back there. A lot of fun, it's you don't have to know the whole Bible. You don't have to know every single Bible story. We have a lesson to teach them. We have a video to show them. So don't be intimidated by that. I mean, y'all see a factor? Is that a factor? Y'all think people just don't know what they're getting into, and that's keeping them from jumping on a team?
Sure. I think people are afraid of the unknown. And so if you can show them or give them permission to try it out, I mean, I think that definitely helps. And like you said, it's have fun. We, love God, love people, pursue excellence, and choose joy. And in the kids building, we say, instead of choose joy, we say have fun.
Right.
Yeah.
Have fun. And
Yeah.
so we're playing games, and
That's right.
So
I always tell them when I'm in Growth Track, we do not want you where you are not called, Yeah. And so if you get in there and realize, oh my goodness, just like I did, I was in a bind, and that, and it's weird because I was a worship leader for years, but I'd never been behind the sound booth. I played with it, then I'd go back, but not sitting there during the service. And so when I actually did that, I was like, wow, this is not my calling. I knew it right away. So I'd much rather be on stage, leading worship. But it was, but it's the same way. I tell them, look, if you get into it, into something, a dream team, and like Scott said, a lot of times they're just apprehensive. Even if they're gifted in that area, I'm not sure. It's okay. Yeah. It's all right, because we don't want you there if you're not called there. So don't feel bad about it.
I think we had 5 people yesterday that came to step 4 that were switching teams or adding a team. Mm-hmm. So I think when they go through Growth Track, they have a very good understanding that you can always come back and say, okay, that's not for me. me. I'm going to switch over here, or now I'm ready to add another team. Or, you know, I had one that took a break because she had a baby, and now she's ready to come back on. So she just came to step 4, added back on. So, you know, all those options are out there. It is not a life sentence. That's what we say, you know?
Well, that's the key part as well, is knowing that there's options. And I'll tell you another blessing. If you're a pastor or a leader from another church watching this, you're going to say, well, you're complaining about that. We have people that try to get on too many teams.
Yeah.
And they do. They think they're pumped and they're excited and they want to get on all of them, you know, or they want, which sounds great. Yeah. But two things happen. First of all, it's a scheduling nightmare. Like you got your leader's trying to schedule you, but you've already been scheduled for another team because they'll want to do first and third of the month here and second and fourth. And the other thing is you get burned out. Yeah. You have no Sundays off. Yeah. The only people that do that mostly worship, you know, and they just love it and they can't get enough of it, which is most places. But if you serve every single week on 2 different teams, you can't really give your all, and you may be gifted in both of those teams. So we do try to challenge people. Now you can join a non-Sunday morning team. Yes. That's something you could do. So do y'all find that a lot of people trying to get on too many teams? I know y'all really stress that a lot.
So we now set it up. So they were doing that a lot, but we now set it up step 1 that we're going to choose one Sunday morning team. And then as many non-Sunday morning teams as you want, because those are not scheduled. But the Sunday morning teams, you pick one, and they usually there's a little, well, I'd like to do both. So we say, do this one for a year, and then when you're ready, we'll switch you over to another one. And so not as much anymore, because we just upfront, when we explain how it works, that's what we say is, and we talk about sit one, serve one. You know, that's a big deal.
And our admins are so good, they catch it. You know, oh, these are 2, you know, hey, you need to ask them what they, boom, you know, and that's so nice to be able to, because before a lot of times
you're hitting the table.
Bang the table, Danny.
I was doing so good.
Where's our admin?
I was doing so good. My passion got too much.
I know, he's getting excited.
But I really do. I appreciate those admins so much because they catch that.
Yeah, and they come and they point to us.
Before it goes, and then it has to come back, and Amy get back with us. Hey, there's 2, you know, and then I have to. But we usually catch it right away now. That's another good aspect. Yeah.
And we've even developed teams within the teams. So like events, for example, that we've multiplied that out to 3 different.
Right.
Because events, you might be decorating, you might be setting up backdrops, you might be getting ready for an actual event. Right. And so that's something else we're trying to work through, is if they sign up for events, well, which one? I mean, we have 3 now.
Right.
You know, I think when we focus on the thing that they love to do, and I'll give you an example. My mother-in-law, who's killer keyboard player, she played keys for us for a long time, probably the first 3 or 4 years. Been playing piano for longer than I've been alive. And I mean, she's got that ear. If somebody strums a guitar, she can tell you which string is out of tune. I mean, she's got that kind of ear. And I remember talking to her. She was doing kids and she was doing worship. And we were up there late one night. We were at the shopping center, and I said, Miss Sharon, I said, well, if you could pick, and I really thought she was going to think about it. I mean, I'm telling you, I thought she's going to pray about this, sleep on it. I said, if you had to pick, you know, one team, worship or kids, I didn't even finish this. There was no question mark at the end of the sentence. She wouldn't let me finish it. She said, kids. Wow. And I thought, wow, I'd have lost all my money on that bet, because you would not catch me in the kids. If I could choose stage or kids, it would not be kids. She is amazing. Yes, in fact, she's just been promoted to our kids director in the last 3 or 4 months. She runs all of our teams and check-in. She's over those, which she reports to Scott. And I'm gonna tell you, I've just never seen anybody like her. I mean, she is so special. Kids love her.
So much joy in what she does.
Oh my God! And walking into a room of chaos and just turning it into something that kids leave learning something.
Yeah. She does not get flustered.
No.
You know, it's there's always a smile on her face. Yes. She's full of joy and laughing, and she's amazing. She's gifted more than me.
Definitely.
For kids. For
I served with her in worship for years, and it's the same way in worship. You know, she never got flustered. She just kept going forward. Always did it with joy. You know, so if I had a kid and she was the one in charge of that, man, I would be thrilled. Yeah. She's an amazing lady. She really is.
Yeah. I think about those people that their heart is in the right place. They want to, serve and serve 4 weeks, a month, maybe on different teams. But I just think of it as kind of the difference between a floodlight or a spotlight and a laser, right? Which one's more effective?
Right.
A laser it can accomplish so much more. And so if you focus on one team, one group of people, you hone those skills, you get better at it, you bring ideas to the team, and see where we need improvement, and so pick a team and then be all in on that team. And like you said, Christine, if after a little while you realize that maybe your passion would be better used somewhere else, then you can join another team, and switch.
Sure.
Well, and I love that about our culture, because what I've learned in doing this for a long time is that if you don't set that culture, people will leave a church before they leave a team.
Yeah.
Because some people are that loyal. They are that loyal. They will leave the church so they don't have to disappoint somebody.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
That ain't us. Like that, we're good with you.
It's
We'd
okay.
rather you be here and switch teams. We really will. Because I know people. They will not. They just they'll just roll out. We've seen that happen. We've seen them just like, where's so and so been? Well, they didn't really like that. Well, come tell us. Like we don't know.
It's
We can't
okay.
fix what we don't know about.
Yeah.
We care about you as a Dream Team member more than you are more than what you do and more than the role that you fulfill or fill. So we care about you, and we want for you to be passionate and for you to enjoy your serve.
And just like we said that, temperaments change as you age and mature and go through things in life, your interests may change too. And you're like, I just don't love this as much anymore. Well, let us join you in the season you're in. Let's find out what God's next step. God doesn't want us to be stagnant, and usually doing the same thing over and over for 30 years is he wants you out of your comfort zone, move into the next step.
Yeah.
So
We have some team captains and coaches watching this, and they're just like, stop talking.
you're making me uncomfortable.
And they have 3 people that are gonna leave my team.
Yeah.
I'll just tell you, I'll just be real with you. It ain't all unicorns and rainbows. Like our kids teams, they need help. Our pre-K needs help. Our kids church needs help. Nursery's doing pretty well. I think they have a little spot here and there. But 2-year-old team, we've launched from nothing, so we really need help there. So to sit here and say that every team is fully loaded and it's not true. I mean, we got tons of first impressions. Check-in's really healthy. Nursery's pretty healthy. Cafe's getting healthy. Worship's getting healthy. But anything in kids, and then one of the reasons I believe is you can greet somebody at the door and then go to church. When you go behind them doors in kids, you're back there for the whole service. You can't. Cafe's about the same too. You serve in cafe and then you go to the next service is our goal. But so to say that we have all these teams are full, it's not true. It's just not true.
Well, that 2-year-old team is a brand new team. So it's still in the building up process. And so it's, they're trying to split that team. So both sides of the pre-K team are now having to build back up. So definitely a need there.
And it was already low. I mean, we were already hurting. So but we're gonna know God's gonna send them. There's people watching this. They've been called to it, and just say yes.
It's amazing. The reason why is because as God sends more and more people here, then we need more and more people to be able to minister to them. In other words, there's probably more people on these. Well, there is. There have been our dream team is as big as it's ever been, but yet at the same time, we need more help. And so that's a good problem. A lot of churches don't have that problem, but I hope they all do, because it's. I would much rather have that problem and just continuing to help people. Understand that area of service and being a part of the kingdom. It's just a beautiful thing. And then as we grow, the more people that we're going to need. There's more kids we have, the more we're going to need. And so, I hope our dream team, I hope we always are striving to have more and more, because that means that we have more and more.
Right.
More so we're going to add services. We're going to, we feel like God's calling us to more locations at some point. We don't know what that looks like, but we want the teams to be as full and as healthy as they can be. And so that we're ready to multiply. We don't have to try to build it up and figure it out. We're already there. Check in. They're pretty full, so they're keep going to check in if you want to, but we're just getting creative, and that's what Scott and I have talked about. Let's dream up and tell our leaders if you had 2 more positions on your team, what would you do with them? Think about where because that's probably coming. Our goal is to get them through Growth Track, and our goal is to have another. I think it's 100 people go through Growth Track this year. Or is it 200?
We're not going to talk about
Yeah,
that
we're not.
number.
We got big
That
goals.
number stresses me out because I like reaching goals.
She's goal oriented. We did both services for a little while, and that didn't seem to push a lot of people
Maybe
through
later.
yet. Maybe later. We're gearing up for it. But our goal really is for you to discover your purpose. Now, let's talk real quick before we close out. Let's talk about step 4. We haven't talked about that yet. How important step 4 is and what that looks like. Because I know I have pastor friends and people that have done something similar to this. When we first started this in 2016, we didn't get it going. It took us 2 years to get it off the ground. I think it was 18 when we had our first one, or 17, something like that. But it took us a while. It took us, Christine finally stepped in and said, look, I'm going to help. I'll help get it going, is what you said. Here we are 7 years later, 8 years later, and she's still helping get it.
Right.
Thank you. Because, Amy was redoing the books, and we had to put our vision in there, and that took a while, and then it just seemed like it sputtered. And then with our first one, we had like 20-something people go through it the first month. It was awesome. And then, of course, it ended up being, 2 and 3 and 5 and 7 and 2 and 3. But we just stuck to it. And I know churches and people, they'll try it for a little while. And we did. And there was a point where I went, this might not be worth it. But I found out about Growth Track real quick. I found out about Growth Track at Grow. We go to a Grow conference. Yes. And you hear about it, you're like, yeah, we're doing okay. I don't even know if we need that. And it seemed like every breakout session I went to, I sat beside somebody who ran the Growth Track at their church. And they would just say, hey, you do Growth Track? No, man, we're good. He's like, it's a game changer. They kept saying that word, it's a game changer.
Yes.
Here's what I found out. It's a game changer.
Yes, that's right.
It's a game changer. All right, and so we do it. And so maybe, it's been a while since nobody showed up, but we pretty much have a team ready to go on Sunday mornings for the 10:45 service. Whether anybody shows up or not, we're ready to receive them.
Yeah.
In fact, we got more Growth Track books in there in the car. I got to get them. So we're going through Growth Track books, which is awesome. So they come through that process. Step 4 is really vital. And so talk about step 4, what that looks like, why it's so important, and how people get onboarded from a 4-week system into a team, and kind of that process real quickly of what that looks like. If somebody would go through Growth Track, hit step 4, then what?
So we've spent 3 weeks with them, helping them discover who they are, how God made them, their temperaments, their spiritual gifts, all that. And so this leads up to step 4, which is what team do they want to be on, or what teams do they want to be on? And so that's when the coaches come in. They meet the coaches. They go meet with their coaches. They find out okay, now I've signed up for this team. What does it actually do? So in step 3, we show them a little sneak peek behind the scenes of the different teams, which is fantastic because, like you said, it sort of takes away the mysterious of what it would look like. But step 4, they're meeting their coach. They're getting inputted into the system. They're sharing contact information, scheduling information, and getting to know a lot of times a coach and maybe an assistant coach also. So starting to get onboarded onto that team. And it's so exciting. Like there's just buzz in the room, and then there's buzz out in the lobby as they're training, and it's exciting. I mean, we had somebody yesterday that it's his first graduation ever, in his life. He's never graduated from anything.
Wow, that's awesome.
And so first graduation ever. And so we've had a couple of those that's, it's just really neat. And they take pride in it. And we call it graduation because, they've committed to come to 4 weeks in a row.
It's a big deal.
That's a big deal. I mean, people like instant, and this is not instant. They're committed to it. So it's exciting. It's a lot of fun. They're getting to meet. They're getting to hear about what they're going to do.
Yes.
And Danny's a big celebrator, so he likes the celebration graduation.
Man, it would be loud in there if it wasn't so close.
If we had real walls.
Yes, right.
I love to, as we, the coaches we have, first of all the dream teams, they're amazing. They're stinking amazing. Mm-hmm. Love every one of them. We have personal relationships with all these guys that have committed to be able to serve their team in leadership. Such a beautiful thing. And the people are just beautiful. And so I love to introduce them, and I let them come in the front of the class and they kind of line up. And I introduce them one-to-one. It's like they're basketball players. Yeah. And this is who leads our, facilities, and I will, even like an announcer.
Coming in at 6'3", here's our facilities coordinator.
And I just love to do it that way. But it does create an excitement and an anticipation, and then after they come in, I introduce the leader, and then I let them know, and they put an eye on them. So at the end, they know who to go to. And then that leader, as soon as we're through in there, will bring them to a table or a certain area, and just pour into them what the team's all about, and excited about them being a part of it. And like Christine said, they get on the schedule and find out where, what services, things like that. But it is a beautiful thing to watch. And then also as at the very end, we're able to hand them a little gift, which is usually like a
gift
T-shirt,
bag,
and something, just welcoming them, congratulating them as graduation, and I love to do that. It's a special time.
Well, and it's fun also because the week leading up to step 4, we're texting the coaches that will come to step 4, and it's funny because they are anticipating, like, am I going to get a text this week? Which means they have a new Dream Team member, and so I saw one of our Dream Team leaders at lunch yesterday, and she was like, well, I didn't get a text from you this week. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I didn't have anyone for your team. And she's like no one at all? And I'm like, no. But anyway, they look forward to that because they get excited to meet new people and have new people on their team also. So we're, it's our thing. So we're excited.
Did anybody pick me?
Yeah. I picked my team. But, and the people going through are excited, but the coaches are so excited to come meet their people too.
Definitely.
Now, step 4, because if you don't know, we have curtains for walls in our worship center for 3 of the walls, 2 of the walls. And we have a big curtain that closes off. But step 4 is different because there's just a bigger buzz. There's a buzz here anyway. People love to connect. The creative team shared a reel this week that people don't want to leave. They when everything I dismissed and everybody's still here. And so there's this buzz out here, which is amazing. And I just hate that we have to sometimes shut that down because we are having a service.
Right.
So I just love that. Step 4 is definitely a bigger buzz out here than normal. And just seeing the team leaders excited and anticipating somebody reaching out to them. So,
absolutely.
You have any closing thoughts on what Growth Track has meant and what that looks like, the future of the church?
I just say, right now we have a little over 350 Dream Team members, which is amazing. At one time, that was the size of our entire church. We can't minister to the number of people that God's bringing to us. A group of 10 people cannot minister to everybody that walks through the doors. So we need you. And not that we need you on a team. We need you to help us serve people and help people encounter Jesus. And again, we believe that God's put something inside of you, that if you will put that to use for the kingdom of God will grow. The Lamb's Book of Life will expand. New names will be added to it. Lives will be changed. And so we want your help. We want your help. And you're not locked into a specific spot. It's going to be fun. We're going to find where your passion meets purpose. So don't be intimidated to come and be a part of Growth Track, to walk through that door because it's unknown in there. And will I know anybody in that room? Just come and let the walls down and experience what God has for you and what He's prepared you for and created you for.
That's good. And just to kind of break the ice, if you look real close in our Growth Track room, there's a picture of Kenny Rogers. I don't know who did that, but it's the funniest thing. You did that? Have you seen it?
Yes, he's seen it.
Yes, I've seen it. And I tell you what, I was tempted to sin because I said it, but I really didn't mean it. I said, I'm going to have to find some pictures of some other people who serve on our Growth Track team because I can find them. But then I said, no, I cannot do that.
No,
I'm going to be better than
Just
that.
so you know, it's Danny dressed up as Kenny Rogers for our Dream Team party.
Yeah.
And so we went ahead and framed it and put it in the Growth Track room.
Thank y'all
It was so sweet.
Thank
It
y'all
really
so much.
was.
That meant a lot.
Yes, I can tell. I can tell. But we like to have fun. We'll show you the hidden picture if you come join us.
Yeah, we might make a reel about it. We'll see.
Yeah.
We do have fun. That's you choose joy. We do a Dream Team party every year, and we want to celebrate.
That's right.
We
Absolutely.
know that you guys are serving. Some of y'all are serving just tons of hours a month, and we don't want you to get burnt out, but we know that you're giving a lot. And I know of course I'm the pastor, but Amy and I, we eat, sleep, and breathe this. Like we don't we have to make ourselves shut it off because we're so excited about what's next and how we can make it better and how we can get the culture to be where it needs to be and how we can just tweak this team a little bit. And what if we, I mean, if y'all have noticed, just even like check-in, like we're dreaming up how to make kids area just pop, you know, with colors and, you know, just when you look down the hall, you just see, you're just drawn to it. And so we're just always just trying to make it better. That includes our teams, our staff. We're just here to serve, and we really are. And that's the heart of our staff. That's the heart of our leaders. It's the heart of our coaches and team captains. And we want that to be your heart as well. And so, you know, I say people all the time, but I know there's people here that have some deep ministry wounds, church hurt, and they're just coming laying low. And then I told them, I said, look, lay low. And it could be a year, it could be 2 years. We're good with that. And if you don't end up staying here, we're good with that too. Just get healed, because we want you to go make a difference. And that's the thing the devil stops. The devil, he just tries to stop you from your purpose, which is it's the connection of what you're good at and what you love to do.
That's right.
You know, so you might love to sing, but if you ain't good at it, it ain't your purpose. And you know who you are. And I'm picking, I don't know. You can sing.
Whatever.
But I'm thankful for each one of y'all for what you guys do and what y'all mean to the church. And it starts right here. It starts with your excitement and growth track and your team's excitement. I mean, it's like a party in that room. That's a small party room that y'all got going on right here. We should put a party. It should be party room, not growth track, because that's really what y'all made it. It's not this stale, dry. No, man. We want to we want to convey that in every way from the step one of growth track to you serve on the team. It's just about having fun and discovering your purpose. So I'm so thankful for each one of y'all stepping into your role, and it's cool that we all kind of have different roles and different responsibilities. And you're not trying to do my job, and I'm not trying to do your job. And you're not trying to do his job. We did try to give you Christine's job. That didn't work, Danny. It just didn't work. But because you
Thank
can,
you. I really appreciate it.
Well, yeah, we all know Amy was the happiest person. I mean. But
you didn't have to say that. But I'm sure she
You're
was.
secure in who you are.
That's right.
It's all good.
But you get to go be Danny. You don't have to be Christine.
You're right. That's good.
It's huge, man, and it comes across. And so when we see people come through Growth Track, we know that the heart of Growth Track, that excitement is going to carry into the Commons. It's going to carry into the worship center. It's going to carry into their small groups. And it is true what people say. They just love being here, and I love being here. And I'm thankful for each one of y'all. So thanks for all you do, and appreciate every single thing that y'all do. Just the time that y'all spend it blesses my heart that you care that much, that you're thinking, I don't know if it's keeping you up at night, but you're thinking about how can we make it better? How can I impact this person a little deeper? We had a conversation this morning real quick about a guy who was in, one of our prayer meetings. And I mean, this dude was pretty far from the Lord. And I mean, he's amening the word that's being spoken in prayer. And I thought he was going to start shouting. And just to see that impact.
Awesome.
And that starts with Growth Track. I mean, they come in, they find a connection, and then they get on a team and start.
Well, because they're making a decision that this is where I'm going to be, this is where I'm going to serve. So that's what Growth Track is it's that decision of this is where I'm serving.
Yeah. And we're okay with it not being here, but if it is here, we're asking you to jump in and just plug in and do it. So, well, thank you for everything that you guys do. I didn't sign up for it. I don't know if you signed. I guess y'all kind of technically signed up for it, but Christine, you temporarily signed up for it. And here we are 8 years later. I'll help you get it going.
I actually never signed up for it. She recruited me.
It's that hook, I'm like, you know what? Let me hook you in here.
Yeah, and I'm still.
It's worked out just fine.
That's right. But because y'all found y'all's purpose, y'all see what that looks like and how it can be for other people. You're not miserable. So I just love that about what you guys do, and Scott, you as well. So thank you guys for checking it out. Until the next time, we'll catch you on the next one. If I didn't sign up for this, we'll see y'all then.